The discussion surrounding the new $2,200 stimulus, or what the administration is now referring to as a $2,200 dividend payment, has intensified once again. And today's remarks from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent have pushed this conversation back into the national spotlight. He appeared in a fresh interview where he directly addressed the proposed $2,200 payments, and while he touched on a variety of topics, including tariffs, trade deals, and the overall direction of economic policy, his comments on the payments were the most anticipated. Before playing the clip, he emphasized that this discussion has been ongoing since the very beginning of the administration, and that the decision to revisit these payments has evolved over time. He began by explaining how the administration laid foundational work months earlier through executive orders and ongoing economic planning. He then drifted briefly into tariff discussions, describing new trade agreements with Central and South American partners that are expected to reduce prices on essential imported goods, such as cocoa, coffee, bananas, and other staples that American families often rely on. According to him, these updated trade deals are beginning to reshape price trajectories for many everyday items, and these reductions in turn are influencing the administration's approach to offering additional financial relief. These early statements set the stage for the question everyone has been waiting for: whether the president will move forward with issuing 2,200 direct payments to Americans. Welcome back to Truth Lens, where we break down complicated political and economic developments in a clear and honest way, so you always know exactly what's unfolding behind the scenes. Our community has grown into a place where countless seniors, Social Security beneficiaries, disabled Americans, veterans, widows, low-income earners, and everyday people come together to stay informed about programs that impact their lives. So many older adults across the country rely on Social Security as their only source of income, and for millions, it still isn't enough to keep pace with the rising cost of groceries, medicine, utilities, and housing. Month after month, seniors write in sharing how even a slight increase in bills can make daily life feel overwhelming. This is why discussions surrounding relief payments matter so deeply. When leaders talk about $2,200, they aren't talking about a luxury. They're talking about the difference between catching up on utilities, paying for prescriptions, stocking the pantry, or simply being able to breathe a little easier. With that in mind, the details of what officials say and what they don't say become incredibly important. As the interview continued, Bessent was asked directly whether the president plans to send $2,200 payments to Americans. His response was cautious but revealing, stating that legislation would be required, meaning Congress must play a central role. He mentioned that everything remains on the table and that the president continues to prioritize working Americans and the middle class, referencing previous commitments involving taxable income, Social Security protections, and overtime rules. He said the first quarter of next year could bring notable increases in refunds and real income for many households. But then, toward the end of his answer, he used a phrase that immediately sparked concern. He referred to the $2,200 refunds or payments going to working families. For many people, especially seniors and those living solely on Social Security, hearing the words working families raises anxiety, frustration, and fear that they might be excluded. This is a recurring worry in the senior community, especially among those who rely on Social Security retirement, SSDI, SSI, survivors benefits, or VA benefits as their primary or only source of income. Older Americans consistently worry about whether lawmakers consider them part of the population that deserves relief. Many seniors are not working, not because they don't want to, but because they are retired after a lifetime of contributing to the workforce, or because disability prevents them from sustaining employment. That doesn't diminish their need. If anything, it increases it. Seniors face some of the highest medical expenses in the nation. Many live on fixed incomes that never stretch as far as they used to. Every month becomes a balancing act between medication, food, transportation, and basic survival. So naturally, when a government official specifically says working families, the immediate reaction is fear that anyone outside that category, including millions of Social Security recipients, may get overlooked in this conversation. However, after examining Besant's statements and the broader context, it becomes clear that eligibility for these payments has always been determined by one thing. Income level relief programs of this type do not evaluate whether someone has a job or works full time. They look at income and income alone. That means seniors whose Social Security benefits fall under the income threshold would still qualify under the same guidelines as previous stimulus programs. The source of income does not matter. A person receiving $14,000 or $20,000 a year from Social Security is treated the same as a person earning that same income from wages. Seniors who don't file taxes usually fall below the standard deduction, meaning their official income is considered $0 under any likely threshold, whether $60,000, $75,000, or the previously referenced $100,000. They would be well within eligibility. That reality offers reassurance to millions of older Americans who live on modest monthly benefits and depend on every dollar to get by. Many seniors across the country have expressed desperation in recent months, explaining how inflation has chipped away at their financial stability. Prescription drug prices have climbed, rents have risen, groceries take a larger bite out of monthly checks, and even small unexpected expenses can set off a chain reaction of hardship. Seniors often describe feeling invisible, as if policymakers forget that retired and disabled Americans are among the most financially vulnerable parts of the population. Messages pour in from individuals choosing between medicine and meals, from widows stretching a survivor's benefit as far as it will go, from disabled Americans who have already cut everything they can and still can't catch up. Relief in the form of a $2,200 payment would not solve every challenge, but for many, it would offer a moment of stability, a chance to breathe deeply for the first time in a long while. This is why clarity from lawmakers is so necessary, and why every word they use matters to the people whose lives hang in the balance. Looking at the broader legislative process, Besant emphasized that Congress must move this forward either through the standard process or through reconciliation. Both pathways are possible, and lawmakers have hinted that additional reconciliation bills could emerge soon. The fact that the administration is openly discussing these $2,200 payments suggests that this is more than a passing idea. It is something actively being shaped behind the scenes. That said, the details, including the exact income limit, are still developing. References earlier in the week pointed to income under $100,000, but until the final framework is released, nothing is official. Even so, seniors can hold on to the long-standing structure of these programs. Benefit recipients have always been included based on income. There has never been a scenario where payments are restricted solely to people with jobs, and such a move would be politically damaging in an election cycle, especially considering the massive senior voting population. Today's landscape is one where millions of older Americans feel unheard, uncertain, and financially strained. That's precisely why Truth Lens continues to cover these developments closely. Our community includes countless seniors who rely on this channel to understand what government decisions might mean for them. Every new update matters. Every phrasing in interviews matters, and every change in policy direction matters, because it directly affects the lives of people whose financial stability is already fragile. As lawmakers refine the details of the $2,200 payment proposal, seniors across America are waiting, watching, and hoping for relief that recognizes their struggles,